Tattoo artists, what was your biggest moment while tattooing? Friday the 13th we do a $20 tattoo special. I had been working for about 12 hours and I go to tattoo this girl. She gets Finn from Adventure Time and the word 13. As I'm tattooing the stencil starts to rub away and I realize I spelled ferret and I stop and say out loud oh I tell the girl and she agrees to let me cover it with roses. The tattoo turned out pretty good and she has been back several times since surprisingly. I just can't believe I misspelled 13 on Friday the 13th when I had been tattooing it on people all day. There's another one coming up next week and I'm dreading it. There won't be any words on the flash sheets this year. Obligatory not a tattoo artist, but I was the one getting the tattoo. I paid for my brother and I to get tattoos. Mine says my brother's keeper and his says my sister's protector, and I was going first. Guy puts the stencil on and has me check it out in the mirror. I was only paying attention to the size and placement. I sit down and I'm ready to go. Guy asked how many tats I have, so I said 14. He asked if my brother was there for any of them and I said no, so he starts messing with him and saying not a very good protector then are you? This is as he is about to put the needle on my arm. My brother suddenly jumps across me and says whoa 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 that's the wrong tattoo and we all look down. Sure enough, he had put the wrong stencil on me. Brother saved the day, earned his protector status, and made the tattoo artist eat his words. One of my clients had some nerve damage in his arm. As I went over it his arm involuntarily lifted up and started shaking aggressively back and forth. He almost hit me in the face, and he's lucky I didn't accidentally tattoo a huge line across his arm. It took several seconds for his arm to stop shaking. Neither of us had experienced that before lol. Biggest moment wasn't a misspelling, it was a feint. I was tattooing a guy's shoulder blade, so he was sitting upright facing away from me. It wasn't a big tattoo or anything, otherwise I usually lay people down for this, and it was busy, so just sit down and bang it out. Get about 1/3 into it, his skin goes clammy cold big warning sign. So I start asking him if he's okay, and of course, he wants to be all tough guy about it, and assures me he's fine. His face isn't too pale, so I go to start another line. He stands straight up like the Manchurian Candidate, and like that, he's out. He tips forward away from me. I can't grab him fast enough with a tattoo machine in one hand and his chair in my way, and he crashes face first like a plank of wood hitting the floor. The only thing this poor sob had going for him was he had a baseball cap pulled low and the brim saved his face from hitting full force. Everybody saw this, the whole shop, the lobby full of people, they probably heard it outside. I'm shedding gloves and putting stuff down, and my client is twitching on the floor like a fried egg. We get to him, roll him on his side, and he starts coming to. First thing he says really loud, pancakes. Everybody burst out laughing, and my client is still pretty out of it, so he's coming to, on the floor, and everyone is doubled over in laughter. Took us a while to get him sorted, and finally explained to him what happened. He had no explanation for the pancakes. Older lady came in, mid-60s, shyly requested a hummingbird on her mons Venus. Halfway through the tattoo she looks down at me and asks if she can ask a question. I say sure she says, can you tell I used to be a man? The oh shit was really in that, until she said something. I would have had no idea. My best friend is a sometimes tattoo artist and this happened back in 2004 I believe. A friend of ours wanted a tattoo for 9/11 and was getting the phrases never forgive and never forget on each arm. They were in this fancy old English lettering covering the full forearms. As he was finishing up the second arm someone said I think that they both say never forgive. It took a while and everyone kept looking at them. The font was really fancy, so it tricked your mind, but lo and behold they were both the same. It wasn't freehand, there were stencils for both. We are still not sure how no one noticed till the end. To make matters worse the guy getting the tattoo was in a wheelchair as he was paralyzed from the waist down from a car accident. I thought he was gonna kill him. I remember laughing so hard at the time. It was so messed up. The phrase was so ironic in the moment. Tattoo artist for a dozen years. Owned two shops. Have had a few of these moments. The one that sticks out to me the most was a very demure old lady and her granddaughter came in. Late 70s and early 30s. Very spry old lady though, Would never guess she was that old. But seemed very proper. Not an English accent, but like old school Cape Cod accent. I don't know. Demure and classy. GD had tattoo showing. Automatically assumed she was jet in the tattoo. But they directed me towards the older lady. Caught off guard. I kind of chuckled. A few simple questions while I recovered and okay, let's begin. She begins to explain what she wants. And from the very first words, Lord. For starters, I would like the tattoo on my I shot a glance at GD, and she gives me a palms up, eyes closed, huge smiling nod of acceptance. The older lady didn't even blush. I was sweetin'. Okay, round 2. Let's try again. So what ya want on your I was a 30-year-old dirty American biker tattoo artist covered head to toe in tattoos, but felt I had to say and not. I laughed in my head immediately afterward. But okay, off topic. And she says, in her classy way, very calmly and matter-of-factly, I want to be very clear here, dear. I want this tattoo around my eye. Oh. What the? I'm literally laughing out loud. Not sure if this is real or some joke and a friend is me. Okay. Grab my drink and my stool. Look her dead in the eyes and ask if she's serious. A few times. She's adamant. At my age I should be able to get what I want. Tattooed wherever I want without being questioned. If I'm in a proper mind. At that point she removes her jacket and this woman is covered in tattoos. A span of 50 years of work. Nothing on her hands or above her neck. I'm in disbelief. This is a carbon copy of my grandmother standing in front of me, covered in ink, asking me to tattoo her up. Times like this I love and hate my job. Okay, so what ya want tattooed on your ma'am? A friend of mine wanted to get the famous Caesar quote Veni Vidi Vici I came, I saw, I conquered, tattooed on his upper back. It turns out the tattoo artist put Veni Vidi Vici, which translates from Latin as, I came, I saw, men. I was a nerd in high school and happened to take Latin as an elective, so I called it out when I saw it. Turned out to be an easy fix. Turning around after getting all my machines prepared and seeing my client rubbing one out, I quickly asked, WTF are you doing? With the most shocked look on my face. The client said, what? I needed to release some pressure before being tattooed. I just shook my head and pointed to the door. Ex-girlfriend got a tattoo on a whim. Expect nothing except everything. I was staring at it and it bugged me. Until I had a fun time of telling her that he wrote expect nothing except everything. I won so when I legitimately thought I left a burner on the stove on at home. The white hot panic on my customer's face is forever emblazoned in my mind. Don't worry though, I didn't leave the stove on. Tattoo artist misspelled the name that was going on my shoulder underneath another piece that was already there. Fortunately, it was when he drew the name on my skin with a pen first, and then he asked me to check it before he got started. When I was getting my first tattoo, the artist was doing his thing and quickly turned around with the active machine in his hand and the clipcord got caught on my foot. This action ripped the machine from his hand and actually stuck him in the arm with the dirty needle he had been using on me. He was not happy. After a few questions about my medical and history, he finished the tattoo. The funniest part is that the artist, strangely, didn't have a single tattoo on his body before I walked in, and now he has a little dot on his arm. Not a tattoo artist, but a friend of mine's dog passed away, so he wanted to get the dog's name, plus man's best friend inside a bone. The tattoo artist spelled the E in best backwards, and tried to fix it, but it made it worse. At one point during this session he says, oh, hang on, let me put my glasses on, so I can see better. He also gave my friend the horrifying information that he can only tattoo while drunk. My idiot friend went back to the same guy for multiple tattoos. Not the artist, but a recipient. My artist and I were designing a chest piece involving Odin's wolves, Jerry and Freaky. One would be on each pec facing outwards. He sketched something up and sharpied the wolf on my right pec. A few hours in, my artist stops, looks discerningly at the sketch, back at me, back to the sketch and says, I did not draw on the sketch. I'm a little confused, and my girlfriend at the time screeches, starts clapping and laughing, and screams he's biting your. And sure enough, my artist had not taken consideration of anatomy and now Wolf's mouth was biting at mine. What makes it so great is when my skin stretch is lifting my arm and the wolf looks like it's opening its mouth and closing it. I love it. My tattoo artist and I went to the same art school for college and were really good friends. With the exception of one, he's done all of my tattoos. I've gotten tons of compliments about the pieces I have that are more visible. I didn't get mad when he tattooed a wolf biting mine because my sense of humor is, at times, askew and I think it's hilarious.